Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the October 7th, 2025 School Board of Manatee County regular board meeting. I want to officially call this meeting to order. We're going to start with our reading of the district's vision by the vice chair, and then also introduction for the invocation this morning. So,
Sure.
Ms. Spray?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
The school district in Manatee County will be an exemplary, student-focused school system that develops lifelong learners to be globally competitive. And I invited our Hispanic ministry pastor from West Bradenton Baptist Church, Pastor Jesus Ramos, to come and do the invocation in honor of our Hispanic Heritage Month.
Everybody can stand. We'll also do the Pledge of Allegiance after.
And he will be doing invocation both in English and Spanish.
Hola, buenos días.
Buenas.
Hello, good morning. Ahora vamos a orar. Let's pray. Querido Padre Celestial, dear Heavenly Father, te damos las gracias por todas tus bendiciones. We thank you for all your blessing. En este momento nos reunimos en oración para pedirte sabiduría. In this moment, we join in prayer to asking for wisdom. La Biblia dice que si necesitamos sabiduría, te la podemos pedir. The Bible says that if we need wisdom, we can ask you. Dios, venimos ante ti en necesidad de dirección. God, we come to you needing direction. Sabemos que donde nos falta dirección, a ti te sobra. We know that where we lack direction, you have. Dios, concede sabiduría y dirección al distrito escolar del condado Manatee. God, please give wisdom and direction to the Manatee County School District. Ayúdalos a tomar buenas decisiones. Help them make good decisions. Cada decisión impactará a los estudiantes y familias. Each decision will impact a student and family. Tú ves nuestras decisiones y sabes cuál es el mejor camino. You see our decision and you know each is the best direction. Señor, te necesitamos y tú nunca paras de trabajar. Lord, we need you and you never stop working. Oramos en el nombre de Jesús. Amen. We pray in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Please join me for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. All right, board, that moves us to approval of the agenda. The chair has found good cause to amend the agenda to include all items listed under agenda amendments on the October 7th, 2025 agenda, updated October 3rd, 2025, and posted to the district website, manateeschools.net. Those agenda items were some HR issues, some items pulled and out of consent, and some presentation stuff that we will be doing for the meeting as well. So looking for an approval, a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
A second.
Any other comments on the agenda? Nope. Let's go ahead and vote on the approval of this morning's agenda. Ms. Spray? I don't think I got you.
Sorry.
It's okay. There you go. And that passes 5-0. All right, approval of our minutes. Superintendent Breslin.
Thank you, sir. The superintendent recommends approval of the minutes of the August 26, 2025 school board meeting, August 29, 2025 school board workshop, September 9, 2025 final budget meeting, September 9, 2025 regular meeting and swearing in the new superintendent, September 16, 2025 school board workshop, and September 16, 2025 meeting of the leasing corporation.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion on approval of the minutes? Didn't see anything. All right, let's go ahead and vote on the approval of the stated minutes by the superintendent. And that passes 5-0. Moving on to student celebrations.
Good morning,
Yeah.
Board Chair, School Board members, Superintendent Breslin. I want to welcome Deb Estes, who's our Director of ESOL and Dual Language Programs, up to speak about Hispanic Heritage Month and how the state of Florida and the School District of Manatee County recognizes and engages in programming around it.
Thanks.
Well, good morning. Good morning, Mr. Chair, Mrs. Vice Chair, board members, Dr. Breslin, and staff. Thanks for having me this morning. I think I get the best part of the meeting, to be quite honest with you. So the fun stuff before the meeting. During the month of from September 15th to October 15th, nationally, Hispanic Heritage Month is celebrated across the United States. But in Florida, it is part of our required instruction. The section 1003.42, the state statute outlines topics that have to be taught in our public schools, and Hispanic Heritage Month is one of them. Earlier, right before the kickoff of Hispanic Heritage Month, the Commissioner of Education sent out a memo and put it on the Florida Department of Education's website with 3 contests that are available for our students and our families to participate in. One of the reasons Hispanic heritage is so important in Manatee County is that nearly 40% of our student body are Hispanic students. So it is a wonderful opportunity for us to celebrate our students and our families in our district. So there are 3 main activities that are sponsored by the governor and the First Lady of Florida. The student essay contest, which is available for students in 4th through 12th grade. And then there's a student art contest for students in grades K through 3. And then there's also an Excellence in Education Award where teachers can be nominated for their hard work and support of their students in their schools, in their classrooms. All of these are advertised. Mrs. Wald, who is the curriculum coordinator for social studies for the district, shares all of these opportunities with all of our teachers. My staff also shares them with all the ESOL teachers in districts, and they're also posted on the Schoology pages so that all teachers have access to these opportunities. We have some wonderful things going on in our district. Some schools hold Hispanic Heritage Month decorating contests. Some of our teachers are teaching bilingual lessons because we have a strong dual language program in our district. And we have students that are just very involved. We have several schools that have offered events at their school site. Moody Elementary's done one. Braden River Elementary had an afternoon of celebrating Hispanic heritage in their dual language courses. And we've got a couple of other schools that have some coming up. Daughtry Elementary has one coming up. Lincoln Middle School has an event coming up. Lee Middle School has a huge event coming up where they have student performers and they bring in people from the community to help celebrate with their school family. The big thing I think that's important to talk about our Hispanic heritage celebrations is that they are a celebration of the entire school community, not just a specific segment of our students or certain members of our family, but our schools and our school administrators do a beautiful job in bringing the entire school community together to celebrate. So here's the fun part. The first one is a video of our 2nd grade dual language students. This young lady is an English speaker, but she is learning Spanish. She's in 2nd grade, and this is from the Hispanic Heritage Celebration from Braden River Elementary. Let's make sure I can get it to work.
Hola, mi nombre es Emma y voy a estar learning está México.
México, muy bien.
La bandera de México.
La bandera.
Este es la bandera de México. The capital city de México es Ciudad de México. Comida típica es pan del Día de los Muertos.
El pan del Día de los Muertos, déjame verlo. ¿Dónde está el pan? El pan del Día de los Muertos. Muy bien, Emma.
Deportes, fútbol, productos, aguacate, maíz y cacao.
Aguacate. ¿Te gusta el aguacate?
Sí.
¿Te gusta el aguacate? ¿Sí?
Platos orientales. México es el principal elemento turístico de América. Mexicanos famosos, Frida Kahlo.
Frida Kahlo.
Es Frida.
Esa es Frida, a ver. Oh, Emma. Me gusta mucho tu dibujo de Frida. Me gusta mucho, Emma.
Ella sabe mucho sobre el Día de los Muertos.
¿Sí?
¿Verdad que sí?
¿Te gusta el Día de los Muertos? ¿Te gusta? ¿Sí?
Y I drew a photo of one of the beaches in Mexico.
Ajá. Playa, ¿una playa en México? Me gusta mucho la playa. Muy bien, muy bien. Ahora, datos interesantes sobre México.
What?
Datos interesantes sobre México.
Are you gonna film Bella?
Oh, muy bien.
I think that smile says it all, to be quite honest with you, and that's pretty impressive for a second grader. She's definitely very talented. And I would like to say that normally, if this meeting were held in the evening, we would bring students to you to perform, to showcase their academics, but we are not going to pull our learning students out of class time. So we thought the best thing we could do is bring some videos for you. And then our second video is very, very short, is I just want to show you how this teacher, she's one of our teachers from Spain, and what she does is she uses a Spanish song to draw attention back to the class. And it's pretty, excuse me, sorry. It's pretty amazing how impressive the kids come to attention when they listen to their teacher start singing with them. Now let's make
¿Todos? Sí. Venga. Todo el mundo mira y escucha, mira y escucha, mira y escucha. Todo el mundo mira y escucha, mira y escucha. Muy bien. ¿Quién me mira y quién me escucha? Muy bien, Elvis me mira y me escucha. A ver qué bien, Celeste. A ver qué bien me mira, Celeste. Muy bien, Celeste me mira y me escucha. Muy bien, Andrea, que me mira y me escucha. A ver, fenomenal. Ojos en la maestra, ¿vale?
So I do get the best part. I get to bring you beautiful children doing extraordinary things in our schools, but I think it would be remiss if I didn't say that all of our teachers are doing incredible things every single day. Our children are extraordinary, our school administrators are extraordinary, and most importantly, our children are extraordinary. So thank you so much for the time this morning. I know it's a different kind of celebration for us, but again, we don't want to pull children from learning. There's too much learning to happen, and we don't want to interrupt that. So thank you for your time today.
Thanks, Deb.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry.
Just real quick, if you haven't seen it, Ms. Estes and Mr. Jensen were on ABC 7, being interviewed by Linda Carson on September 17th, talking about our dual language program. So if you haven't seen it, they did an excellent job, and just wanted to commend you on that.
Thank you so much. It's really easy to talk about the great things going on in our district. It really is. So thank you.
Chad, if I may.
Thank
Deb,
you
before you
so
go,
much.
as long as we're on the topic, just so folks understand, the students who are in dual language programs spend half the day in a Spanish-speaking environment
And a half
and half day in an English-speaking
Yes,
environment.
sir. They
And
absolutely do.
done to fidelity, which we're mostly doing, is you have a mix of native Spanish speakers and native English speakers.
You are
It should be about half and half.
absolutely correct.
Are we at 4 or 5 schools? I've lost track.
We're
of
at
the
4
number.
schools.
4
We're
schools.
at Prine
thank you.
Elementary, Daughtry Elementary, Palmetto Elementary, and Braden River Elementary.
Braden River, yeah.
All
So-
very successful programs, thanks to their incredible school leaders.
And thank you for that. And the data, when you look at dual language programs historically, when these students get into high school, their data is just off the charts. So I really appreciate the commitment of our current superintendent and staff and previous superintendents and staff and boards who really supported this work, looked at the data and made it happen. So it's really a great program for our kids in those schools.
It really is.
Yeah.
We're very fortunate to have the support of everybody in this room. I think I said on that interview, it takes a village, and our village is strong in this district.
Indeed. Thank you, Deb.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank
great
you so
day.
much.
You too.
Appreciate your time.
All right, moving on to public comments for today. We've got 4 scheduled public comments. Just a reminder, above you at the podium will be your time, 3 minutes to speak. It is board policy that we don't interact with public speakers as they're there. So it's not that we're not listening or don't want to talk to you. We won't respond. It's not part of our policy. So first up, Martha Jacobs, followed by Martin Hyde. Martha Jacobs, come on up.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Martha Jacobs, and I'm a full-time resident of Manatee County. I first want to take a moment to thank you all for everything you do for the public school students and teachers of Manatee County. I'm here this morning to speak on old business agenda item 14.1, approval of travel expenses associated with board members Mr. Choate and Ms. Spray's attendance at the 2025 designation of Senator Jim Boyd as President of the Senate in Tallahassee. I'm grateful to Colonel Tatum for flagging this at the last board meeting, and I'm in full agreement with his opinion that this is a purely partisan political event. As a taxpayer, I can see no direct or even indirect correlation between this particular event and education, school policies, or the duty of school board members. Furthermore, I see approving this expenditure as setting a very poor precedent for the future. The reasoning that this shouldn't be looked at as a partisan event because the board asks the legislature for money all the time could also be extended in the future to include trips to Tallahassee for gubernatorial inaugurations or even DC for presidential inaugurations. Both of those offices also help to fund education in the county, but attendance for the inaugurations would be political in nature, regardless of personal invitations to all members. Additionally, I'm struggling to understand how this item aligns with the district's strategic plan goals, which are stated as develop effective professional development and high-quality instructional coaching for teachers to support rigorous literacy instruction across all grades. And I pulled that from here. I appreciate Ms. Felton suggesting give Mr. Dye time to look into the legality of the matter. I also appreciate the board voting to postpone the action and voting on this action until today. I ask all board members to vote no when agenda item 14.1 is presented. I agree also with the League of Women Voters of Manatee County that if board members wish to attend, they can pay their own way. I thank you all for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Martin Hyde, Kevin Wright, followed by Kevin Wright.
Well, good morning. My name is Martin Hyde. The most important issue for a school board is school safety. Loco parentis is a sacred undertaking. Assuming you all get that, how does this school system hire a substitute teacher who was arrested just 4 months ago in Brevard County for climbing, no less, a school fence and attempting to enter through locked doors without authorization? I don't care. Actually, I'll go further. I don't give a rat's if that case in Brevard hasn't been adjudicated, and neither would any sane parent. How is it possible that such an individual is hired and subsequently arrested again for inappropriate behaviours towards children, the answer can only be a total lack of accountability and proper process. It is outrageous and unacceptable for children to be put at risk for any reason. This is the single most critical role that this board has. You must make your superintendent, new as she is, accountable, and she must make her staff accountable. 3 things to do. First thing you need to do immediately is a full and complete background check on every single member of your staff, including, while you're at it, their legal right to work in the United States. The second is to consider terminating the contract with the agency who sent this guy. And the third is to review your substitute teacher policy with a view to hiring a number of full-time floating teachers equivalent to the median number of substitutes. Casually hiring anyone from a faceless agency to be in close proximity to children has no justification whatsoever. No amount of cost savings justify risking harm to your kids. You could save the $1,700 to go to Tallahassee for a start. If any of you don't agree that this is a serious matter, you're just as much of a danger to our kids as the guy you hired. Do better and do it now.
Kevin Wright? And Jesus Ramos? You signed up.
Good morning, school board members, Superintendent Breslin. I'm Kevin Wright for the record. I belong to about 6 or more as a lifetime member or as a perpetual member of veteran service organizations. One thing that every single one of them has in common is that one of their pillars is youth and student services. It has been for the 10 plus years since I retired from the military, has been that. I'm specifically here, since it's Halloween's coming up, somebody might refer to it as a costume, but this is my Veterans of Foreign Wars uniform. All of you should have been given handouts for what I'm specifically going to address, but next month, I'll be start pitching at all the schools the oratorical contest for American Legion, and then soon after that, the American Legion will be talking about Boys and Girls State. These are all seminal programs that far more of our students ought to take advantage of. I will tell you, in the 10 years I've been doing this, 5 years in Georgia, 5 years here, every year I've had to work harder and harder to get fewer and fewer students to apply. That's sad. That's sad. The linchpin for this is your principals, Superintendent. They're the ones that drive the train with all the faculty members. But I'll tell you, this is what we've done. The veterans, we have 2 programs ongoing right now with the VFW. One is the Voice of Democracy, which is for high school students, in which they recorded something. The other one is for middle school students, which is called the Patriot's Pen, where they write something. The theme for both is the same. How are you showing patriotism and support for our country? The suspense for this is the 31st of October, Halloween. But I'm not starting now. I will tell you that one of my committee members, Tamara Fitzgerald, I know has already talked to, I think she talked to you, Kevin Penley, I believe, and Kevin Chapman, and then she was talking to me, Kevin Wright, so she was talking to a pack of Kevins about promoting this. And she says you guys were very, very supportive of it, and you put it, I think you referred to it as Pick a Peach, where parents and students can go online and they can select this. And thank you very much. I haven't done that in the past, so that's one step up. This is something I haven't done in the past to promote it. But starting about a month ago, generally I've been a committee of 1. Now I've got the blessing, I got 4 other people working with me, and we've got about 5 middle schools, 5 high schools within our purview of our VFW post. We've also hit up 2 private schools, and I went to 2 homeschool cooperatives. Because 2 years ago, thank you, Richard knows me. 2 years ago, it was a homeschool student that won vast amounts of money and accolades and all kinds of things to put on her college resume as she moved on as a homeschool student. And her parents had an all-expense trip to Orlando in order to because she had won at every level up to that thing, and that's fantastic. I'd like to see more public school students competing with the homeschool and the private students to do that. Everything
Appreciate it.
else that you need is in the packets that you have.
Thank
I
you very
appreciate
much.
your time and support in this endeavor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jesus Ramos, you did not sign up, or did you? Yeah, come on. Yeah.
You're done.
No.
I think you
Okay.
just, yeah. No.
All right. That concludes public comment. So thank you very much for all those who. Yeah.
There is other people who apparently tried to sign up but were not able to do so.
If it was after the start of the meeting, our policy is not
No.
is before
Too late.
the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. All right. Let's move on to item number 9, reports, and there's good discussion there, by the way. We'll have some discussion on what they were just talking about here later on.
Right.
Item number 9, reports and presentations. First one, audit committee, quarterly report to the school board. Mr. Daniels, come on up.
Mr. Chairman, Vice Chair, members, council, and Madam Superintendent, good morning.
Morning.
I'm Jim Daniel, Chair of your Audit Committee, who will be renamed later in the meeting. Things that we did in the last meeting was we welcomed Susan Harrigan as a member coming off of the Financial Oversight Committee into our group. She's going to be a great addition. Wanted you to note that CRI has finished their reports. They issued the last contract compliance report that went to you for approval. They've taken their open items on the post-audit review and providing that to RSM for follow-up. There's relatively minor items left. Purvis Gray's finished their audit of the internal accounts, and they'll be following me, present that to you. We recommend that you accept that audit. Was done with some different strategies in the audit, looking at things a different way, and it's nice to have some new blood looking at things that way. When the meeting, we also sat down with the RSM staff, the new internal auditors, and discussed the way we work with the committee liaisons. We have these projects we get and get approved by you to do, but in each one of them, we have one of us from the committee assigned as a liaison with them specifically to that. Examples, the sales tax report, millage tax report, and completion of the assessments. And we've had 3 of us each assigned to one of those tasks, communicating with them, looking at their scope, trying to make sure that when they get done, they're going to make the audit committee happy with what they've done procedure-wise and everything else. And I want to talk about the potential, before I introduce the RSM staff, which I want to do here. We got a request just in the last couple of days from the superintendent to look at the new high school and what's going on. It's my understanding some of you have been getting some phone calls. There's been some questions, some issues, and met with the staff and Ms. Sellers. They met yesterday to look at that scope of work. I'm going to be presenting it to you. I'm going to be introducing them right as I finish, and I'll let them get into it in more detail, but it is to just look at the purchasing procedures, the way we've done things. School's very expensive, a lot of money being spent, and the superintendent wants to know that she's walking in with things working correctly. And if it's in the press and in the questions and you're getting calls, it's probably something that you do. So I'm asking that you will approve that. The other projects I just mentioned have been approved by you, but I'm going to be asking for you to approve us to go forward with that post haste. We did looked at the changes in the Citizens Financial Oversight Committee charter, and I brought forth an item. I know you're voting on it later, and I'm hoping you'll amend it. The way it's written in the mission statement for the millage, it says that it's due 90 days after the annual financial report. that's the one that is prepared by staff and given to you early in the year. The way it was in the original ordinance and the way we would like to see it is that they have 90 days after you accept the annual comprehensive financial report that comes from the auditor. To do otherwise, to do it the way it's written in there right now, that means they're working with unaudited information. We want them to make sure that when they issue that report, it's the latest, any greatest, any changes, anything else that came up with the auditor are considered. Again, the original ordinance had that, and in our changing and moving that, we left out the word comprehensive. It says on page 508 of your packet, it says that you certify that audit. Well, you would certify or approve something coming from you, and like the reports we do, they're your reports, you're the issuing body, so you approve the issuance of that. With the comprehensive annual financial report, I guess it's, I'm getting the old nomenclature, but you're accepting that because it's presented to you by the auditor. This year, the Auditor General will be giving it to you. And that starts the clock for the millage report coming to you. The sales tax report, we have been doing a lot of the work ahead of time, but also don't issue it until after we get the ACFR is the right way now, to make sure that we, again, have audited information in there. So we'd like to ask that you would approve, Mr. Chairman, if it's possible, that we do authorize RSM to do this work. They're coming up with a scope of work for it as far as cost parameters. I received a very detailed email yesterday from the sellers with a lot of the background and detail that's in it. I have not had an opportunity to talk about this with my other audit committee members, but I felt like the timing of it was such that we wanted to move forward now. And if it's all right, Mr. Chair, I'm going to stop there and let you see what you want to do with that.
Okay, thank you. Is that that's your whole report, though?
No, sir, if you'd like me to finish, just.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and we can finish.
The last thing is this, that we went over the annual financial report with Ms. Sellers in detail. When the comprehensive annual financial ACFR comes out, sorry, I'm old-fashioned. We are considering holding a December meeting, special meeting, to look at that, get it approved, get it to you on a timely basis rather than pushing that into January. We'll look at the timing when they issue it, but they seem pretty confident they'd have it out early in the month. We'd have a meeting specifically for us to look at that, approve that, and send it to you for acceptance. That completes my report. But I would like to, if I may, introduce the RSM staff and let them talk about these projects in more detail and let you see a face rather than just something that's out there, if it's all right.
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, we've all met them, the board, but the public have not. So yeah, come on up.
Matt Nava.
Good morning. Thank
Morning.
you for having us today. My name is Matt Blondell. I'm a director with RSM, focused on internal audit specifically for school districts here in Florida. As Mr. Daniel mentioned, we are and have met with all of you and have been working through our risk assessment process with the goal of producing a risk assessment report that will include a 5-year audit plan. Our intention right now is to bring that risk assessment and audit plan to the audit committee on their November 6th meeting. So we are just in the final stages of that and wrapping that up, and we'll be working with our audit committee liaison to finalize that report prior to the meeting there. As he also mentioned, we've been working through the half-cent sales surtax audit. That has already started, and we're well underway with that, and are just now beginning and have been working through with the audit committee to finalize the scope of the ad valorem work. Have worked with the audit committee, the CFOC member that was mentioned, as long as the CFO, to kind of finalize the scope and exactly how we're going to approach that one. So we're in the very final stages of that and ready to begin very shortly. As Mr. Daniel mentioned, we also have we also received a special request on the recent procurement process, looking at the construction for the AAA high school. We are ready to go with that. We are ready to issue kind of our preliminary document request list to the procurement team, and understanding that time is of the essence there, intend to, if approved, get started on that with haste and issue something as soon as possible to really look at the all of the procedures, making sure that the procurement process followed applicable district policy as well as Florida statutes with respect to how that contractor was procured.
Matt,
Yes,
can
sir.
I just have a quick question on this piece real quick. We, in the audit plan, we have unassigned hours that we have available to this project.
Correct.
And then roughly at the start anyway, roughly how many hours do you think we need to commit to this project?
It should be very quick. I would say off the top of my head, probably less than 40 total hours from the RSM team, at all levels.
Okay, I was thinking 30 to 40.
Yeah, it should be very quick. And yes, sir, we have, so in our statement of work for the annual audit plan, it included an allocation already for the risk assessment in the 5-year plan. It included an allocation for the half-cent sales surtax, and then there was TBD on the ad valorem work, and then TBD audit projects that made up the balance of the budget and the hours, which will be selected in conjunction with the audit committee after the 5-year plan has been completed, and we've had the chance to discuss that and
Right.
received approval from the board on that plan. So yes, there is quite a big amount of TBD work in there, just because we're just now starting with the audit plan procedures.
Yeah, and I appreciate the confirmation. I just want the public to understand this audit is not an extra expense. We've already got it budgeted into the work. So, thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
And then lastly, you should have all received, I think, 2 monthly dashboards at this point. This is something that we provide to our board members and audit committee members. They're just dashboards that provide an update on all of our ongoing work, so that you have a regular document from us to see what we're working on, and certainly welcome any questions that you might have as you receive those dashboards from us. And of course, we always have a open line of communication with the board members.
Excellent. Thank you.
Excellent.
All right, thank
Appreciate
you.
it. I don't see any board, let me get my legislate, nope. No board members are lit up to speak, so thank you very much. And I know we got a good chance to sit down with you all and talk about the future audit and the 5-year plan. So board, we do have a request obviously in front of us. There's nothing in this particular item. There's nothing in the new business, so someone's gonna have to, give a motion to accept this project taking up approximately 40 hours of inside of our plan. Unless just legally with our contract, they can do it. We all know about it, and we're like, yes. I don't know if we need an official vote or not to actually allow them to do this. We all know nobody's sitting up here saying no about it. Do we need an official vote for them to take some hours that we've already voted on to give them? You know what I mean?
We're more
think so.
trying to make sure you know what's going on.
Okay, good.
Transparency.
Good. Yeah.
If it's all right with you, we'll just tell them to go.
Yeah, no, we're good. There's no objection.
I'm sorry, Attorney Tyler.
And I will make sure we address it at the November 6th Audit Committee meeting.
Perfect.
And see if we have something ready to provide to you by that time, hopefully.
Perfect.
I don't think it's necessary,
Right.
so
Yeah.
as long as you're clear, it doesn't hurt anything to do it.
Yeah. But I don't think we need to. I think
Yeah.
we're giving the go-ahead. Nobody's really objecting to it.
Yeah,
we-
we're not,
as-
if I may, we're not. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Penley, go ahead.
I would just add to that, Mr. Chair and board members, that as I recall the budgeted item for the audits, there were some hours left at the end that were unallocated. So it would fall within that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Agreed.
I'm good with it.
All right. Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Second presentation is the Purvis Gray presentation for our school internal accounts audit report. So come on up.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
I'm Tiffany Mangold, audit partner with Purvis Gray, and I have in the audience Pierce Hogan. He's senior audit manager as well. So we are your external auditors just for the school internal accounts this year. You have the auditor general on the district itself. So we did finish the audit of the school internal accounts, and you should have all received this packet. We've already presented it to your audit committee, but we just wanted to give you a brief overview as well, just so you can know how it went. There's 3 reports in here that are our reports to you, the auditor's reports. They're clean. They're all clean reports. We've issued an unmodified opinion. That's the highest level of assurance that you can receive from an audit. We also look at your internal controls, how they relate to the financial systems and financial reports. And we did not identify any significant deficiencies or material weaknesses to report. So again, another clean report for you. And the third report is the Auditor General's report, and that is a management letter report where if there was anything that didn't rise to that level, but we still thought should be communicated to you here, we would issue it there. But again, no findings in that Auditor General's report. No instances of non-compliance and no fraud, waste, or abuse were noted either. So a very clean report across the board. There is a combining schedule on page 5, I believe, of your financial statements. Yes, 4 and 5. This is the combining of all the schools, but then if you want to see each individual school, it's going to be further back in the report, pages 11 and 12. It'll show you each individual school. So you're ending the fiscal year, June 30th, 2025, with a total fund balance of $6.8 million across all the schools. Of that, $200,000 is in inventory, but the remaining $6.6 million or 6.58 is restricted for student organizations. And your revenues, you brought in $10.28 million in revenues, and you expended 10.29. So you expended just a little bit more than what you brought in. So you're pretty much spending everything that you're bringing in for each of the schools, which is really great that you're providing those. The schools are each providing all of these activities for the students. The other thing I did want to note to you, just that there is a letter that we give to the audit committee, and these are just if there was anything that rose to the level of difficulties encountered in the audit or disagreements with management or adjustments, we'd report them to you here. It's not included in your packet, but this was also a clean report. So I just wanted to let you know that full audit was smooth. You have a great team that we worked with, and we appreciate their cooperation through the audit. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Board?
Sounds great.
Thank you.
I love it.
I
like when
love
there's no
it.
problems.
I do too. It's much easier for me.
It's easy. This is
Very
easy.
boring. Exactly
You want me
what
to go
we
in
want.
depth? We can go through each school line by line.
No, we like when it's boring, especially the financial audits. Good
Yes.
stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good meeting.
All right, that moves us to reports and presentations on number 3, 25-26 fast progress monitoring, PM1. The results, and I think that's Mr. Jensen taking over the computer. Mr. McCarthy, come on down. I've just to kind of start. I've heard some really good things about the PM1 results just from people that I know, family members, etc., with some young kids. So really good scores out there. So looking forward to seeing the presentation.
I'm excited to present the presentation. I just want to welcome Evan McCarthy, our Director of Assessment, Accountability, and Research, and my partner in crime here for the PM1 assessment results. Like you said, Chair, I think obviously we bring these to you throughout the year, PM1, PM2, PM3, and PM1 is really our starting point as an organization. So I think this is obviously a baseline. It's where we're starting to begin the year. But I think there's some data in here that's very promising and speaks of a very positive 25-26 school year in the school district of Manatee County. Now my laptop is locked. Oh, sorry. I have to log in. Here we go.
We're all guilty of doing that, so.
All right. And so I'm going to pass it over to Mr. McCarthy for the first part of the presentation, and then I'll take the second part.
Morning, Board.
Morning.
Superintendent Breslin.
Good morning, Mr. McCarthy. Thank you.
So fast progress monitoring, we just completed our PM1 or our fall progress monitoring window for state testing. That encompasses K through 10 ELA, well, actually pre-K through 10 ELA, and K through 8 math testing. As we've said before, it runs through 2 different platforms, the Cambium platform for 3rd grade and up, and then in the lower grades with the littles, it runs through Renaissance. Once again, I want to make sure we remind everybody, and hopefully a few more of our parents see this. The easiest way by far to get to your kids or to see your kids' results in the state family portal is to go through the Focus Parent portal. So if I want to look at my daughter's results, I first have to remember what the heck my parent login is at this point. But then I go through the Focus Parent portal and click on that little thing that says Florida Statewide Assessments, and it takes you right to the state portal and logs you in. When you get there, it'll pull up a page kind of like this one, where it shows the most recent score results, as well as like where your student placed, a breakdown of kind of their overall results, a detailed student report. If you start clicking on some of those, I like to click on the detailed one because it takes you to pages like this where it breaks down exactly what skills your student, your child knows. If you're like me, I'm not an educator. I don't actually know what all these categories are, but they're very easily searchable. I just drop them into Google, look up what phonemic awareness is, and Google gives a really great summary now, or it'll take you to a page for one of the testing programs that will explain it to you. They also have a really great tab, especially in the older grades for ELA, called Resources to Help Your Student, where the state themselves give you very specific kind of skills and things to work with your students on at home that are very kind of accessible for a parent.
Chat for me. Evan, before you move, you just said something that made a light bulb go off, and I've heard this from parents before, and really this is a question for Dr. Breslin as well. But parents in conversation have said, I want to get into Focus, but I can't remember my username or password to get into Focus as a parent. And then I've heard from a few parents that it's kind of a cumbersome process to reset their password. I think one or two parents have told me they have to go into the school to be able to regain access to Focus. I'm just curious what the...
So I myself was in this situation this summer, logging into my son's Focus account from my parent access. And I was able to do it online through my home computer.
Oh, okay.
As a parent through my private Gmail address. They sent me a reset link, but I can certainly talk to IT to make sure that we have that communication going out, just to remind, it's communication that can go from schools to remind parents, especially coming up at the end of the quarter.
Right.
If you haven't been able to get in, here's a reminder on how to get in and how to go through the steps. You can certainly go into the school, but I was able to reset it from home.
Okay, good to know. So maybe
Yeah.
that parent was just having a tech issue or didn't quite know how to navigate. But if
Right.
you've done it,
There's
it's
a couple
possible.
steps for security, absolutely.
Sure.
But I had to do it from my parent account,
yeah, of
and I
course.
hadn't done it in a little bit.
Okay, good to hear. I appreciate the reassurance. Yep. Thank you.
So the next part of the presentation, Mr. McCarthy is going to take you through our PM1 ELA and reading results, which span obviously the STAR assessment from grades K through 2, and then FAST from grades 3 through 10.
So, like Chair Choate mentioned, we have very good results on everything for PM1 this year. So starting off in K2, you can see we're up compared to last year in kindergarten, first, and second grade. We're gaining ground on the state in all three of those grades as well. Just a reminder, in kindergarten through second grade, the state's a little wishy-washy on what tests they require the students to take. So to start off, kindergarten students are required, every kindergartner is required to take STAR Early Literacy for PM1. But after that, the state says you can take STAR Early Literacy or STAR Reading. Second grade is nice and clean. They only take STAR Reading. First grade, then, all the state really cares about is that you take STAR Reading for PM3 in the spring. So in Manatee County, to both try to challenge our students who are accelerating and to kind of maintain things for our first graders who have to take that reading test at the end of the year, we have our first grade students all take STAR Reading all year long. So you're not dealing with that transition from which letter makes this sound at the beginning of the year to actually reading a question on a test at the end of the year. We just have them do the reading test all year round, so they're getting the practice on what they're doing at the end of the year. And then kindergarten, if you have a student who does test really high, the platform flags them as a probable reader, and so we start transitioning them over to that STAR Reading test, so they're actually getting kind of that extension and acceleration practice.
And what Mr. McCarthy described is kind of the reason you see the differential between us and the state in first grade, is because this is kind of rolled up between early literacy and reading. All of our students start on the more challenging reading assessment, whereas you have students across the state who are in that data set for the state who are starting on the early literacy assessment. So it's not necessarily an apples-to-apples comparison on PM1 in first grade.
Yeah, and you can see a little bit of that benefit on second grade PM1 this year, where our kids are a little more comfortable with the reading test than their peers around the state. And this is just the same slide with the district versus the charter and how our district-run sites are doing right now. I'm really good through too. Third through fifth grade. So this is when we start the kind of upper grades state testing that would feed into like accountability things when we get to spring. So once again, you can see we're doing pretty well. Our third grade scores are up. Our fifth grade scores are up. Fourth grade, word I'm looking for. Fourth grade is down a little bit compared to last year. We think that is partially a result of the wonderful work our summer reading camp programs did this summer with third grade reading students. We did promote, is it 130?
131?
131 more students in the summer from third grade to fourth grade through the reading camp this summer than we have in the past, which does of course take students that may not be entirely as proficient and move them from third grade into fourth grade. So our third grade's looking a little bit better, our fourth grade's looking a little bit down, but it's looking, even with that, it's looking much better than it could. So that's probably a good thing overall.
And again, like you saw on the K through 2 slide, you see us narrowing our gap with the state and even surpassing the state in some grade levels as a PM1 starting place to start the year, like fifth grade, I think is particularly notable.
I can barely hear you guys.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
I was saying, so I think the fifth grade data speaks to a lot of what we saw in K through 2, which is, us making up a lot of ground to start the year with the state. So starting even with the state, even starting ahead of the state, like we're seeing in fifth grade here, which, hasn't been the case in prior years across grade levels. And just really positive news to start the year. Obviously, our students are taking the test seriously and working very hard, and we're getting an accurate measure of where they are to start the school year.
Yeah, and then once again, here's our district run versus charter site comparison for third through fifth.
Again, really commendable results in third grade and fifth grade.
Yeah.
Sixth through eighth grade, we're continuing the really good news. We're outperforming the state in both sixth and seventh grade. Our fifth grade is up, even though the state's up a little bit more. So once again, really good news in middle school too. Same thing again with charter schools and district sites. You can see the just really good growth across the board from both us and the charters. And then when we get to high school, our 9th and 10th grade results. Our 9th grade is up compared to last year. Our 10th grade is holding steady compared to last year. You can see the breakdown then by district versus charter. The district sites are both doing really great.
So I think across the board in ELA, we're very excited and optimistic to start the school year, and this is a great foundation to do the work. And I know as you've been walking classrooms, going into schools, you're seeing how much work our students and teachers are putting into reading and math every single day in their classrooms. And I think this is telling all the work that's been done up to this point, and I think the amazing efforts they're putting in this year will continue to move the needle forward for our students. So I get the pleasure of talking about math, and so we're gonna move over to math for the same kind of data sets. K through 2 star, you see in front of you right here, and it's the same story, K through 2. Again, the board is really committed to early learning, and I think we see that manifesting in all of these slides as we continue to get early learning data from the quality of our pre-K programs all the way through second grade achievement. We're just seeing our students improve year over year in early learning.
7 points in second. That's awesome.
Again, I think the breakdown just shows the story of our early learners being very successful academically. I threw this slide in as a reminder. We have multiple pathways for math in school. We've always really had multiple pathways for math because in middle school you would always have students, some of whom take regular classes, some of whom take accelerated classes, some of whom are taking your algebra and geometry while they're in middle school, right? Getting their high school credits out of the way while they're in middle school. And then last year, or over the last 2 years, we've really transitioned to the state's 3, 4, 5 acceleration pathway as well to help prepare those accelerated students for those middle school accelerated math opportunities. And last year, the big change was that we started testing some of those tests or some of those grades in accelerated classes above grade level. So the grade 4 accelerated students are really learning 5th grade math, and so at the end of the year, they take the 5th grade FAST. Same for your grade 5 accelerated students, and then your grade 6 and 7 accelerated students, they are really taking pre-algebra, and so they're taking the 8th grade FAST. And last year, if you recall, when I showed you the math data, it was all over the place. There were lots of huge negatives, lots of huge positives. We were breaking it out by groups of accelerated students to try to make it make sense, but there was no apples to apples comparison because we didn't have the same group of students testing in the above grade level in multiple years. Well, like I said, this year is the year where we now get to compare to last year with that above grade level testing. So we're able to consolidate the grade levels, and it looks much more like what you're used to seeing. So what you see is the rolled up data, but that includes all the students who are above grade level testing included in that data. So for example, when you see the 5th grade data on this slide, that includes your 4th grade students who are taking the 5th grade exam as part of their 4A classes. And so this kind of shows you relative to last year where we're starting. And I think the positive is that we're, again, moving in the right direction across most grade levels. We're starting up over last year, even with our accelerated students, which isn't captured by themselves on these slides, but our accelerated students are starting ahead of where they were last year. So you can see we're up in 3rd grade and 5th grade. Just like we used to see with 8th grade math, when you would have all your non-proficient students typically testing in 8th grade, and so those numbers would be lower than everywhere else. Now, because of the way we're accelerating students in testing above grade level, the holes you're going to mostly see are 4th grade and 7th grade. Those are the areas where all your accelerated students are kind of being pulled out of those grade level test bands, and they're testing on different grade level content. And again, a comparison of district and charter for your reference. And then again, moving into middle school. So 6th grade, again, really positive gains relative to the state. This is where you're going to see your 5A, your 5 accelerated students represented in this grade level. Even 7th grade, like I said, pulled out from the state. I mean, pulled with a lot of our accelerated students kind of pulled out of that testing grade. Still positive growth and gains there. And then 8th grade, where some of our other accelerated students are, you see significantly up over last year as well to start the year. And we expect those to grow significantly over the course of the year. And then again, you see the district charter breakdown on this slide. And the last thing I have for you is just what we're doing next. This is our foundation, like I said, but we are working very hard to make sure that our students continue this momentum throughout the school year. So some of the steps we're taking are we have common unit assessments and programs in ELA and math and all of our tested grade levels, really with the intention of monitoring our students' progress between progress monitor exams, but then also a piece with secure exams like PM1, right? The students take them, but the teachers never get the test items back. They never get a chance to sit with the students and correct misconceptions. They never get to say, oh my goodness, 75% of you missed this question. Let's all take a look at it and reteach this concept and analyze why we got this question wrong. So one of the powers of using things like common assessments as a district is we give those assessments to our students, and then the teachers instantly get data back and they instantly get the items back, so they can immediately use them as part of the instructional cycle with their students, which is really the power of using assessments for instruction. So that's the rationale behind using things like common assessments in addition to your progress monitor assessments. Like we also have literacy coaches at all elementary schools who in monthly meetings evaluate their school data, look at how their teachers and students are performing, and make a coaching plan going forward. We have our secondary instructional coaches that coach across content areas. They attend monthly meetings as well and do very similar work, both to support ELA, but all the other content areas at secondary as well. We have monthly data review and professional learning with our APs and principals. We have a Making Progress initiative this year, which we've mentioned in the past, where all of our schools are identifying kind of their focused instructional priorities and what strategies, high effect size strategies they're focusing on as a school. And the APs and principals are being trained in how to provide teachers feedback and elevating their practice along those high effect size strategies. So anytime you visit a school, the school leader should be able to tell you, what really they're focusing on instructionally that school year. And all of those things are grounded in research and will pay off with student results. And then the Superintendent Breslin and I have a weekly standing meeting with our executive directors who supervise the schools. This is something she's instituted, where we review all of the different data elements we have weekly, and then identify areas of need and misconceptions, problems, and then immediately action plan to support those schools. And so that's something that's happening every week, and I think is just going to be a powerful driver of the work going forward. And then, of course, we'll be assessing students in December and January on Progress Monitor 2. And so you'll receive those results in January and early February to kind of see the growth that's been made between PM1 and PM2. And that's it.
Great. Thank you.
Thank
Board?
you.
Anything, Ms. Spray?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you again for pulling all this data. I know it's kind of cool for you. I love it too. To be honest, it's all numbers. If you had a magic wand to get students from 2 to 3, what would that be in math and reading? What is your magic wand to get that level up? Although we improved, but.
So, I mean, the magic wand is being very deliberate.
Right.
Student by student data tracking, monitoring, helping those students set goals for themselves, see how close they are to making a level 3, and then providing them with the strong core instruction and whatever additional supports are needed to help move the needle. But I think when students are partners in their learning and they understand what the goal is and why they're trying to reach that goal, and their teachers are aware of what the goal is and why they're trying to meet that goal, I think that really drives the needle forward, because there's just so much intentionality that a process like that brings to a classroom.
And there was questions about parents accessing focus and getting into that. Is there a system in place, because I don't have students and kids in school or anything, is there a system that once the test is done and a student has a problem with a specific area, is a parent notified through focus? Say, hey, your child is kind of a little slow in this particular topic?
There's a variety of mechanisms for that. So first, if a student scores in the lower 20% essentially on these assessments, we're going to start the process of sending letters home saying you may have a substantial deficiency in English or mathematics. That's kind of begins the collaborative process with the parents, where we action plan to try to address that deficiency in whatever content area it is, create tier 2 and tier 3 interventions for the students, get them connected to the New Worlds Reading Initiative, all of those different pieces, so that the parents are kind of partners in the learning and have access to it. If it's just, one standard, maybe that's what we leave to our teachers in class, and they, through things which I'll share in my comments at the end, with our parent conference nights, for instance, and other mechanisms, we'll have greater ability for teachers and parents to connect, to share those data points with each other and strategize to support.
It would be really cool if there was a thing in focus that, we're gathering all of this data. If there was a way that we could say, hey, email that parent, here's your child's scores, this is something that they may need to look at and re-examine. That would just be a kind of a maybe down the road thing.
The scores in focus.
Right.
I think to go,
The next step
would be like, as a parent, what am I reading?
Right.
I mean, because the parent has to read to see what the deficiencies are. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you only scored a 3 or 2 or whatever. I mean, it does a decent job in there. I mean, obviously I've seen it for my own, but I'm in it, right? Like so I've seen it. As a parent, if I didn't really know what I was looking at,
Right.
you know, how do you differentiate good, bad, and different? You know what I mean?
I agree. And I think, you know, if we just send data points, like even if I sent this deck to a parent, they may not know what they were looking at, right?
Right.
But I think the power is, you know, a lot of our schools, and we're really moving to this from a systems perspective, is in building year over year in this dimension, is having students own their data, having students track their data through, you know, folders they keep in class, through other mechanisms. And when parents are coming in to meet with teachers, either through conference nights, parent-teacher conferences, the teachers are putting out that data, and either the student is presenting it to the parent, which is really one of the coolest things to see, or the teacher is able to use that data to have a conversation with our parents.
Okay.
So they're tracking their data and how many points till the next bucket and setting goals for themselves. So the teachers really do a wonderful job of collecting that data so that it can be used for those types of conversations.
Okay.
And that way the parent is like a partner with the teacher in the learning.
Awesome. Okay.
So
Obviously, because I've not ever been able to access Focus. I don't really know what I would be looking at, you know, as a board member. I wouldn't know. You know, I go on what you guys give us and all of that. But if I had a child in there, it'd be totally different. So.
Well, maybe one of these days Evan can create for us all a fake child so we can at least go in and look. But that was actually what I was going to say.
Only fake.
And it's important for our parents to remember that when they're looking at the PM1 data, they're being tested on things their kids have not actually really been taught yet.
Right. Yeah.
This is a learning curve for them. Because we're so used to, when my kids were in Focus a couple of years ago, and I could see their scores, and I'm like, oh, but they weren't doing fast testing. You know, they didn't have a PM1 and a PM3 and all of that. So, you know, our parents are still in that learning curve of understanding that, well, this is stuff that they haven't been taught yet. We're trying to see where they're at so we know what to teach them. But I find it encouraging that when they're at a point where we're testing them and we haven't officially taught them that concept yet, they're still scoring higher than the state.
Right.
So that I find that, you know, to be really, you know, promising in that as well. And, you know, as our parents go and we continue to do this, they'll get better and better at understanding what it is they're looking at with regards to what their kids do know.
Yeah. As we're looking at data and Ms. Spray's magic wand got me thinking about this. So I think one of the biggest challenges we deal with is attendance, right? Like making sure kids are there.
Yes.
So when we're looking at this data, we're looking at, you know, Chad was pretty far off in section 2 or chapter 2, and this particular area, are we going back and throwing that data in there? Like, how many days did Chad miss of October, which was all of chapter 2? Oh, he missed 17 days out of the, you know what I mean? So like, are we looking at that through the data as well? And then second question to that is, at the parent-teacher conferences, is that being discussed? I mean, that's a weird thing to sit there as a teacher and ask the teacher, like, well, Mr. Choate, like, you've allowed your daughter to miss 15 days out of 20. You know what I mean? Like, and maybe it's not always just you've allowed. Maybe there is issues, right? But yeah, I'll let you answer those two.
I'll start with the second one. Yes, our schools, you know, are very forthcoming with our parents. I think when they see trends in attendance, we send, you know, communications home for absences and whatnot. We're going to have to do some new reporting requirements around that soon. But ultimately, whether it's through those conferences, the letters and communications home from Focus, or the different specialized roles we even have at our schools, which will actually call and show up at parents' doors trying to help students get to school on any given day. I mean, ultimately, you know, we put that information, we'll be very frank with the parents and let them know that attendance is important, and here's all the times you haven't been in attendance. And I mean, the relationship between attendance and achievement is very clear. And so I wish there was more we could do to make sure that those students were getting to schools in a more regular manner. And I think any parent listening to this, whatever we can do to support students getting to school on time and every day, that's one of the biggest factors you can have in the education of your child. I think to answer the first question, up at our level, we kind of get to look at it at the macro level, right? So I'm looking at a school and how many chronic absent students they have, how many chronic tardy students they have, and we're kind of identifying things in the macro, identifying what the average daily attendance is, and then using that to make decisions for school support and also help explain and help us understand why we're seeing the data the way it is. At the school level, they're looking at it in obviously a more granular student by student way. So they're making plans for students. They're these types of plans typically become part of their intervention structure, or, the different systems of support they have for students. So it's a work in progress, but it's also one of those things that's just very frustrating because we know how important it is, but we also see the data and see that our not enough of our students are getting to school often enough.
And Board Chair, I'll just interject a couple things as well. So part of our weekly data meetings is attendance review. We added that in this year as well, so we can keep track of schools that are showing a really large decrease in attendance, so we can force supports into those schools. And then additionally, the schools have amped up their interventions with attendance, and they all have attendance monitoring plans in use with Branching Mind to document it in line with new statutory requirements for looking at students who are chronically absent. So when we go to the higher level of truancy steps, we're able to provide courts all the interventions that we've provided for students if we need to go to that level to get a student back into campus. So there's some really exciting things going on. Samoset was just awarded a $10,000 check from a community organization, SAS, in order to help with attendance, and those funds will be used for incentives, but also things like uniforms, shoes, any item that students need that sometimes get in the way of that student coming to school. So there's several different initiatives happening, and then when you move into high school where we see attendance really become problematic, those reports are now being produced with the help of Evan going out through student services, through the executive director, down to principals, where you're looking at grade level attendance, test performance, grade, behavior in terms of referrals, all in one spot. So then you can sort students who are at risk to make sure that no student is slipping through the cracks and not receiving the intervention. So there's been some added layers put in, which hopefully will then yield some positive results as we battle this attendance problem.
Awesome, thank you. Mr. Kennedy?
Yeah, last one real quick. And this might be an unfair question because I'm asking you something about how the state handles something, and maybe you don't know. And so don't feel like you have to come up with an answer. But I just went for the highest number I could find, which is fourth grade math. And so according to our data, 68% of fourth graders in Florida are at level 1 on math progress monitoring 1. So my question is, does the state look at that and say, are we doing something wrong? I mean, obviously each district's going to look at their data and say, okay, how can we, but I just can't believe that more than 2 out of 3 fourth graders in the state of Florida are this bad at math. And so, again, not a fair question, but if we know, what does the state do when they see results like that?
I think the state would probably reply the way I would reply if you asked me that question about Manatee's data, which is because this is Progress Monitor 1, this isn't supposed to forecast where they're going to end up at the end of the year. It's supposed to be a representation of exactly where they are now. So a fourth grader a month into the school year before they've learned any of the fourth grade content shouldn't be at a level 4 or 5 unless they're highly advanced. And so you'll see, like, those students who are in that level 1 band right now, you'll see them slide into the level 2, 3 band, PM2, potentially further.
Yep.
Yeah, so you'll see a lot of those students who are captured in that level 1 band end up proficient at the end of the school year. But it's kind of their starting place.
Okay, fair enough. I appreciate that. Thank you. Made that point.
That's the hard part about PM1.
Yeah.
We're coming out of, kids from second to third grade, summer,
Yeah.
all of that. So that's always the hard measures, in my opinion.
Yeah, which I guess when, in the grade levels, that number is in the 30s and 40%, like, oh, those kids are actually starting off pretty well.
Yeah.
Right.
So-
Yeah.
But when you see a high 60s, it's like, wow, that's, we got,
Actually,
these kids have some
74.
work to do.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Item number 10, consent items. Superintendent Breslin.
Yes, sir, thank you. The superintendent recommends approval of the consent agenda for the October 7, 2025 school board meeting.
So moved.
I'll second.
A motion and a second on the floor for the consent items. Let's go ahead and vote on those consent items. And those pass 5-0. All right, board, we're going to take a quick recess, 5 minutes.
Thank you.
All right, 5 minutes. We'll be back. All right, welcome back from our brief recess there. We're moving to item number, 13, new business, with the superintendent recommendation. So item number 13.1, Superintendent Breslin.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. The superintendent recommends approval of advertising a notice of intent to amend school board policies and setting a public hearing at the board meeting on December 2nd, 2025. General fund.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second is on the floor. Superintendent, you just want to explain briefly kind of what policies and what we'll be doing the public hearing for December 2nd?
Yes, sir. And we have Mr. Chapman here if we want to allow him to present
Sure.
briefly on the policies that we
Come on up.
Thank you, Dr. Breslin, School Board. We've got 4 policies here that we advertise, and then you all will have a chance to workshop them on Friday at the board workshop on October 10th. So this is just the advertisement of 4 policies that are all based on well, except for one, but all based on rulemaking or legislative changes. And then one we've updated ourselves to add some vocational area in the CTE area to our instructional policy. So we can workshop them on Friday, but just 4 policies. And then it seems a long time away, but just because of the board meeting dates, the board approval on these will be December 2nd.
Great. Thank you. I don't see any board members lit up to speak. So let's go ahead and vote on the approval of advertising a notice of intent to amend school board policies for December 2nd. That passes 5-0. Item 13.2, Superintendent Breslin.
Thank you. The superintendent recommends approval of the district's school internal accounts audit report as of and for the year ended June 30th, 2025. No financial impact.
So moved.
Second.
Obviously, we were presented that by Purvis Gray and a great report. So we'll go ahead and have our motion. We have our second. Let's go ahead and vote on the approval of the district schools internal accounts audit report. Passes 5-0. Item 13.3, Superintendent Breslin.
Thank you, Chair. The superintendent recommends approval of use of the Duval County Public Schools contract number 0824DB for substitute teaching employment services, SDMC 26-0070-TG, estimated in the amount of $5,225,000 annually, multiple funding sources, moved to new business non-consent on October 3rd, 2025.
Thank you very much. Do you have a motion and a second?
I'll move for discussion.
Okay,
And I will second for the same.
perfect. All right, so Superintendent, you want to elaborate a little bit on what this item is, and then I'm sure some board members will have some questions and things. I know I do.
Absolutely, yes, sir. This is our annual agreement. We're piggybacking off the Duval County contract for ESS services, which has been our provider for substitute teachers in Manatee County schools. We do have our Executive Director of Human Resources, Dr. Britton, and as well as our Associate Superintendent, Mr. Kevin Chapman here to answer any questions that board members might have regarding this contract.
Thank you. I guess a couple questions. So I don't see anyone well, I do see someone lit to speak now. So I'll let Ms. Felton go ahead.
Obviously, we all know what happened with the arrest with regards to the substitute teacher who was also under this this company, and we've heard public comment today about it as well. I know that we need substitute teachers. I am not adverse to having a contract with them. However, the level of background check in which this company is apparently working is obviously not to the standards that we need if we can have somebody hired who is actually in the middle of a process of being investigated for a potential crime. So I'm not sure how we approach this. I mean, legal may have to handle this for us and help us figure it out, but they need to be held to higher standards. And so I don't know if we need to approve it for a year and work with them to improve their standards and look into another company, because I know we need this. We needed this in, what was it, June, July?
Yes, ma'am.
In the summer so that we can continue to have substitutes. We can't go dry on that. So I'm not quite sure where we need to go with this, but we definitely need to discuss it and figure out how to handle this problem.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think what I would like to do is, because there's a lot of questions there, and I think not only from the board, I think from the public there's questions. Obviously, we had a public comment about it, right? I think number one, we got to understand what kind of background do they even use, right? Are they using, number one, and is it up to our standards? Is it, and we don't know this, and hopefully someone can answer that. Is it up to the state standards, right? What we would use. So number one, are they using that? Number two, if they are using that, did this person fall through the cracks, or did it not register, and would it have registered on our end if we were doing it by ourselves? Because in the day, we're using a company for services that we could theoretically, well, not theoretically, we have in the past and used it ourselves. We haven't used this company forever. I was a sub at one point in college, and you didn't go through anywhere. You went right downtown. Well, the building's not there anymore. It's a storage unit, which hundreds of thousands of those too. But anyways, so that's my question: is what kind of standards are they using? Are they matching our standards? Are they matching the state standards? Because that's obviously where they slipped through the crack. Second, my other part of that too is Brevard. I think this arrest happened in Brevard, I believe. Is Brevard using this same concept or this same company?
Right.
Because this company is used across the state and they talk to each other, right? So the system does. If we're outside of this company, we don't necessarily talk to this. The system doesn't talk to the other one who's not using it, right? So they're only talking to the districts. The database is there for all the districts. So a lot of questions. Mr. Chapman, and then whoever else needs to take over can jump in.
Yeah, no, thank you, Ms. Felton and Board Chair. Answer a couple of these questions. So ESS is this company in our area. Their area manager is here with us as well. They rent space from us at our Wakeland Support Center to be our partner. They've been our partner in this effort for the last 5 years, and I think they just hired over their 3,000th substitute here for us to over the years here in Manatee County. Their system of background checks is exactly our system of background checks. It is the same system that is used whether you're in a corporate setting or a government setting, and that is the system that this state has set up, which is the acronym is ACA, which is the Florida Agency for Healthcare Administration, which is an odd acronym and an odd situation, but that is the way the governor and this state has set up their background check system. And ACA is connected with our fingerprints, with the law enforcement, with the state law enforcement agencies, to clear all of us in our positions. And so when it comes to this particular individual, yes, he was arrested for a misdemeanor in another county. That misdemeanor would not appear even in our background check. It does not come up in the ACA system because it is a misdemeanor, and it is not part of a disqualifying offense when you run the background check. So if he were to apply here for a job here in this school system, he would have passed the same ACA system that we would have run him through. So he also was not convicted of that misdemeanor. So those steps led to the fact that he passed the ESS background check just like he would have cleared our background check. So it's one of those instances that we can all be very upset about and sad about, but that's how he essentially became a substitute here in Manatee County. So ESS has a very thorough system, just like we do. They've been with us for 5 years. This is the first time this has happened. Obviously, we don't want it ever to happen, but you know, we've had some instances in our school district as well in running these checks as well. And the fact is they clear this law enforcement database, and that's because sometimes if it's a misdemeanor and on one of these disqualifying offenses, and also the conviction didn't pop up. So those are your kind of brief answers to those questions.
Well, I mean, thank you. And obviously, we know that you commit a crime without ever having committed a crime prior to that, right? But I do want that was my very first question was, what is their system? How are they operating it? Is it the same as ours? So, and what we would all use. So that's great. Ms. Spray is up on the board.
Couple of things. I read this contract from Duval. 7.1, 7.0 on this contract says the district's rights and reserves has the right to accept or reject any or all of the proposals. My ask would be to modify this to maybe do more extensive backgrounds. I know they're using the same ones we are, but something was missed, obviously. And I know it was a misdemeanor, and you explained that away, basically. But did you say that the director for ESS is here?
Our area manager and also our purchasing team is here. And I know, Ms. Spray, you said something was missed. You know, and it's hard for me to sit here, right? We have a gentleman who has committed a crime here that is heinous, that we all disapprove of. So I certainly am not here defending him. So let me make sure that's clarified. So when I say something wasn't missed, the system that the state has set up to check all of our backgrounds is what was used. And he did not have anything in his background that would have red flagged in that system. That is the way the system is set up here in the state of Florida.
Okay, it was coded as a misdemeanor, but did you say that there was an investigation that was going on still or not? It's been dismissed?
I don't know the current legal status there in that other county, but
okay.
It was not, because of the way the case is and the way the charge was and what he was charged for and whatever all that happened legally in that county, it did not activate a red flag in the state's law enforcement background check system.
Okay. And we've had this company for 5 years. I'm inclined to do, when I did a word search on this entire document, I did background. I just did background to see how many words popped up, and there was only like 3. So I know they followed the state protocols. We follow the state protocols, but maybe we should be lobbying the state to change some of them protocols given the dynamics of some of these things that are coming up in all districts, to be honest with you. I'm hesitant to renew the contract, but I know we need to. But I would not want to extend this more than 1 year and put it out to bid, because it's a 5-year. And I'm sure there's other companies out there. I think they did RFQ or RFP when they did this 5 years ago. So purchasing, I'm sure there's a protocol for redoing some of these contracts after, just to keep renewing, I don't think is good practice. So I would be hesitant to renew it more than for a year.
Ms. Spray, I just want to interject as well with our human resources team. When Dr. Britton came on board and under the direction when interim superintendent Chapman was in the seat, we did call for an internal human resources review that is currently in process as well. And I think that too will help us in looking at all of our systems to make sure that we're doing everything we can, whether we are hiring a contracted employee or a direct hire, that is part of the process that we're looking at to become stronger in our practices.
Okay. Okay. Well, it was very unfortunate. It's very disheartening, the nature of that arrest. I do know that. I've gotten a lot of feedback from the community. You know, how could we do that? How could we do that? Well, we're explaining this is how it happened. Things happen. You can't control everybody's behavior. We have 6,000 plus all of these contracted people. It's hard to isolate individuals that have ill intent, whether it's toward a student or an employee. So again, I would only renew the contract for the year while this was being rebid for a new vendor. And it could still be this vendor, but expand on the background beyond what the state does. I don't know how we could do that, but there's certainly federal things that we could look into, maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
Just to add, Ms. Board Chair, it's just, I believe the ACA, that system.
Right, it is federal.
Does check state and federal.
Federal,
So,
okay.
And that, when you get, as we all have gone through that,
Right.
you then are that's called a level 2 background check.
How often is that updated? Do you know? Does it, I don't guess
Well,
that would be
it should be
illegal.
Every 5
We've got, you have to come up though. Ms. Brittany.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we have to redo it, but I'm saying the system, the actual,
Yeah.
How often does
Like if I get arrested
federal or
yesterday,
state, right? How
then I
often
apply
is
for a
it
job.
cycled, right? If somebody was arrested yesterday and we're gonna bring them in as a sub through this company, they wouldn't have known that they approved this person a week ago to come into our school. But how are we ever flagged? That's the difficult part for HR. Ms. Britt.
So everyone is required to be rerun through the ACA system within the next 2 years. That's within our own district. So everybody's fingerprints and everyone, meaning every employee currently on the roster at that time, will be rerun either this year or next year. That's the result of new legislation passed since December. Okay, so that's good for us. That's an automatic audit of our employees and their background, every employee. So if someone is arrested today, tomorrow, and they're in the ACA system, we get an alert from ACA, and we did with this gentleman. We were alerted the next morning. If they are in our system and haven't yet gone through ACA, because it didn't exist before April 7th of this year, we get an alert from Raptor, and that goes to our fingerprint specialist. She immediately pulls the report and notifies Superintendent, Mr. Chapman, myself, the head of security, and Mr. Nelson, the head of OPS. So we get arrest reports 2 ways right now, only
Okay.
because we're bridging 2 systems until everyone is entered into the new one.
Okay, that's great information, and that's what I was trying to pull out for the public to know, that there are systems in place, but unfortunate things happen.
It
It's
is
just
bad.
unfortunate that
There's
things
bad apples
happen.
everywhere.
Bad apples everywhere, so.
And just like with every employee here, ESS, the company that that's in front of you right now, every substitute is also, just like our employees, is run through the E-Verify system.
Right.
So now the E-Verify system is a federal system. It's now temporarily, I wouldn't say shut down, but I guess I could use that word.
On hold.
On hold. So we are on hold with hiring right now, like most institutions.
Right.
But that individual was run through E-Verify as well. So the federal database on essentially your status as a legal resident or citizen here. So just wanted to add that point as well.
Okay. That's all I have.
Ms.
Thank
Felton?
you.
Mr.
Per Mrs. Spray's point, with regards to, obviously if we wanted something more in-depth, we'd have to go to the legislature to do that. Maybe just some, and this is just, me brainstorming right here. It might be advisable for us to speak to our legislative body about the possibility of, if it's school-related, you know, if the person who has been arrested on a school-related, so that way if it's a misdemeanor, it still flags.
Yep.
A school-related charge, because, you know, breaking into a school property is not a good thing, and if that's something they're going to do, we should probably be concerned about it. So, you know, that's just a thought that that
It would
I
be
had.
everybody flagged, but just
yeah,
that-
yeah.
Yep.
You know, if it's child or school
Child or
related.
school related. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Maybe that's something we could add.
Yeah.
So can I just let you know that if it was a felony, and it was any type of felony charge, we would have all been alerted as well.
Yeah.
So not even if it's all the way through a conviction, but that's the way the law reads right now, is if it was a felony charge. Because it was a misdemeanor, it didn't raise itself to literally the point of changing color on our screens, red or green. But those charges do come through if they're felony. You're right, if it's a misdemeanor, it's not as apparent. So it would be, I would strongly support you making that recommendation to legislature. And that just, thank you guys for being so concerned about that, because that shows how much you care about who we put in our schools. And I'm here to help you with that.
Thank you.
Ms. Kennedy?
Yeah, I guess my question is about the requirement on the employee. We have a policy, I believe we still have a policy, that a self-reporting policy that an employee, if arrested for anything, has to report to the supervisor within 24 hours. So there's kind of multiple layers of oversight of our employees upon even an arrest. I kind of agree with the chair that, I mean, I'm leaning toward, I support this contract. This is a service we desperately need. It seems to be running successfully for us. It has been for, 5 years. And this is what you get, to your point, Chad. Like, this is what you get when you're dealing with human beings, whether it's a sub or it's one of our own. And we have issues with our own. So I don't want to just throw out the whole contract because one bad actor slipped through. And it really does sound like everybody did everything right here, including the little girl involved, who was empowered enough, thank you to her parents, who was empowered enough to speak up and identify this person very quickly. So praise to her.
Safety over secrets.
Yeah. But I'm not sure, other than this kind of legislative fix, I'm not sure what else we could have done better here, frankly. So I'm gonna support the contract, and this is just another example of how we all have to be vigilant. Students, employees, parents, we just have to be vigilant for this type of thing. And as soon as it's identified, we snuff it out. I mean, we see these stories all the time coming out of school districts. And so I know there's been a lot of chatter, and I don't want to say alarmist, but there's been a lot out there over this case. But and I don't mean to minimize it, but like, this is just what we have to deal with when we have, one of you mentioned it, we have 6,500 employees, and people are imperfect, to say the least in this case. But so for that reason, I'm gonna support the contract.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone up here is if we're supporting the contract means we're supporting what's been done, what's happened, right? Obviously, there does need to be a legislative fix here, and I think that could be done. I don't know how the system works. I'm not a technology guy. I don't know how that's going to work, but I think we can do it. I mean, it's 2025. But I do believe that the ESS, the contract, it has worked. I do believe they're doing the right thing. I know we're doing the right thing. So I agree. I'm in support of the contract. I think that with Mr. Kennedy, we all have to be more observant what's happening. And to the little girl, I mean, for her to be empowered to do what she did was great. And we just got to continue to teach our kids what's right and what's wrong, and what adults should and shouldn't be doing. We need their help, because there are bad actors out there, unfortunately, right? In every profession you get, it's not just teaching, it's everywhere. So I don't see, let me get back to my Granicus. I don't see anyone else lit up to speak. So thank you all very much for your question or for your
Mr. Choate,
answers.
Can I just add,
Yes, ma'am.
just a thank you to the Sheriff's Department, Captain Maury, who really stepped into action as soon as a call was made, and really support our schools through all of their hard work. So I just want to thank them.
Awesome. All right, so we've got the approval, we've got a second, or motion and a second to approve the contract. So let's go ahead and vote on that approval. And that passes 5-0. Thank you all. I'm glad we pulled it. I'm glad it was pulled. Glad it was a good discussion to have and was definitely needed.
Yeah.
All right, moving up to item number 14, old business. The approval of the travel expense associated with school board chip members, myself and Ms. Spray, for the 2025 designation of Senator Jim Boyd. We did have a public comment for this particular item, so if you want to come up.
Thank you. First off, I'm missing school today to attend this meeting, so if I could get documentation for an excused absence, that would be great. I've heard each of you echo concerns about transparency, so it seems a little bit hypocritical to hold meetings at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. That said, I'm missing school today to speak on behalf of Manatee County students, teachers, and working parents who couldn't be here. You did not get elected to this position because your constituents wanted you to misappropriate their taxpayer dollars to fund your political careers. You got elected because voters believed in you. Families believed that you would put them first. Parents believed that you would improve the schools that they trust enough to send their kids to. Teachers believed that you would improve their working conditions. Manatee County residents trusted you to improve our schools. So what part of giving Mr. Choate and Mrs. Spray almost $2,000 to attend Senator Jim Boyd's designation as president of the Florida Senate is going to improve our schools? In this meeting's agenda, it states that this trip will improve literacy instruction. Nothing helps students learn how to read more than sending our school board members hundreds of miles away to make political connections, right? Waste, fraud, abuse. Look at the state of our schools. At my school, the mold-infested AC breaks down regularly. The bathrooms have piss-stained toilet seats, and there are holes in the walls where the soap dispensers used to be. And you want to spend our money on a political trip instead? Our teachers are working second jobs just to make ends meet, and they're still spending their underpaid earnings on essential school supplies this county fails to provide them. And you want to make us pay for your political trip. Stop this insanity. It's appalling. I understand that you might think it isn't that much, but it's about the principle. You do not need to steal $1,700 of taxpayer funding for your political trip to Tallahassee. Pay for your own trip if it's that important to you. Or, as school board members, you could go on a trip that actually improves our schools, like Miss Felton. Y'all have a responsibility to serve your constituents who voted you in. I suggest that your meetings focus entirely on that, not your personal partisan politics. Students before politics. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, item number 15, or excuse me, 14, the approval of the travel expense. We, obviously this was old business. There is no superintendent recommendation. So we do need a motion and a second.
I'll do the motion.
I'll second. Any discussion on this matter? Ms. Spray, Mr. Tatum?
Yeah. This is not, to me, just a political trip. I don't know why this was even brought up that way, but I'm reading an email that I had sent to Ms. Sellers. I asked Ms. Sellers for transportation information. I wanted to know what our transportation cost is and what the state provides for us. And the district budget is $19,237,455 for the 25-26 school year. The Florida DOE provides us about I don't know, 10 million of that, with a balance of 9,012,976 is paid for the district's general fund. I asked for this information because I have been scheduling meetings with people in education, on education committees while I'm there. This is not just a glorified political event. This is I have the opportunity to meet with some of these legislators because they're busy right before session, and this is just a good opportunity. So I don't know what all the board's going to do, but I know I have been in communication with people up in Tallahassee since this agenda item was added, so I could schedule meetings while I was up there. So that's my little spiel on that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Chatham, and then Ms. Felton.
So Ms. Spray made the comment that she doesn't understand why it's been advertised as a political event or something to that effect. And the reason for that is it says right on the invitation, it says, the Republican caucus of the Florida Senate cordially invites you to attend this event. It doesn't say the Florida Senate, it says the Republican caucus. On the bottom of the invitation, it says that it's sponsored by the Florida Republican Senatorial Campaign Committee. And then, as I've pointed out before, it goes on to say, not paid for at taxpayer expense. And the reason that they point that out is because they know that it's a partisan political event and that we shouldn't be expending taxpayer money. And now Ms. Spray made the comment that, well, I'm going up there to have some meetings. Well, we wouldn't be going up there if the agenda item says we're going up there for this event, and we wouldn't be going up there just for meetings. I mean, if the agenda said travel to go up and have meetings with elected officials, I'd say, oh, okay. But we're going up there to do this event, which is a partisan political event, and on the side, we're going to have a couple meetings. It just doesn't, I mean, it's obvious to the public and the people who have commented today that it's a partisan political event, and I know we have a legal opinion, and that's the lawyer's job, is to quote unquote give us their legal opinion. I might have mentioned this in the last meeting, but there's that little scene in Jurassic Park, if you remember, where the crazy scientist, what was that guy's name? You know what I'm talking about?
Jeff Goldblum's
Yeah.
character?
Well, Malcolm was the character.
Malcolm.
Yeah, so he's sitting there with the rich gentleman who set up all of Jurassic Park, and the rich gentleman's like, well, I can fix this. I know, because everything's going wrong, right? And Jeff Goldblum looks at him and he says, you know what the problem is here is you figured out whether or not you could do it, but you didn't think about whether you should do it. And so maybe somehow legally, when you look at all the laws and the rules and everything, if we had to take it to court, so to speak, maybe it wouldn't be illegal, but I just believe it's unethical. It's clearly a partisan political event. I'm going to go, but I'm paying my own way, and I just believe that we shouldn't be expending taxpayer money on this event when it's clearly said on the invitation it's from the Republican caucus, and it says on the bottom it's run by the Republican Senatorial Campaign Committee, and it also mentions the fact that they're not using any taxpayer money to support the event. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. So,
I want to hear legal opinion, but I just want to say that I wonder if it was a Democrat with a Democratic caucus paying for it, what the view might be from the public as well. Either way, if it's sponsored by a party, would we feel the same way if it's an opposing party? I have no interest in attending either way. I have other things I have to do, but if I was invited, obviously everybody knows what everybody's political affiliation is. As a Democrat and wanted to go, would the board support my going to a democratically sponsored event for a Democrat? So that's just something that I was wondering. I don't need an answer. I'm just my thoughts on that, but I would like to hear from legal what your thoughts are on this now that we've given you time to look at it.
Previously applying, I didn't think it was illegal or violated any policy. So it's in the discretion of the board.
My research into the Florida Commission on Ethics opinions showed that there had been no prior ethical prohibition against the trip.
Mr. Rita?
I'm done.
Mr. Kearney?
Yeah, thanks. I think the criticism that we've heard is valid. It's not a lot of money, and frankly, we've probably spent, in everybody's hourly rate in this room, we've probably spent over $1,700 even considering this right now. But there is a reason that this is on this part of the agenda. It's a new statute that any expense like this must be done out in the open like this. We can't bury it in the consent agenda, even for these small expenses. So that's why this is here, and it gives the board an opportunity to look at these on an individual basis. So this one, honestly, I'm torn because I think the criticism is valid. On the other hand, in this specific incident or event, pardon, it's not an incident, it's an event, there's some mitigating factors for me. And number one, it's our local state senator. I don't know the last time we had a local state senator who was elevated to president of the Senate.
Galvano back 6 years ago.
Oh, Galvano, thank you. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago, actually. So that wiped out that part of my argument. But the fact that this is our local senator, there is certainly something to be said for relationship building. I think Mrs. Spray and Mr. Choate probably already have a pretty good relationship with Senator Boyd. But there is certainly benefits that Senator Boyd can bestow upon the district by that relationship building. So this one I'm inclined to support, but I appreciate that we have the opportunity to do this individually for each time an expense like this comes up. I'm not crazy comfortable with it because of all the things that have been mentioned. But right now I'm leaning toward I'll support this one. Maybe we're going to vote in the next 30 seconds. But
Yeah. I'll just quickly say, now that there's anybody else up on the board, I mean, I didn't think it would get this much of attention on this item. I'd probably go regardless of whether it was supported or not, and I had to pay for it myself. But the only reason why we were invited is because we're sitting in this seat. None of us were invited because of whatever, right? And I've known Jim Boyd almost my whole life. And so I wasn't invited because I'm Chad Choate. I was invited because I'm on the school board of Manatee County. So that's why, to me, it absolutely is a reflection of what this position is. And this position is political. Doesn't matter what party, right, left, it doesn't really matter. To me, I'd be honest with you, if it was someone that I knew from younger, when I was younger, that was a Democrat and they invited us, I would absolutely go. I'll tell you right now, I'd absolutely go. So Lawton Childs I knew. I was too young to do anything, and I know the Childs family, I love the Childs family, so I would have absolutely gone if Lawton was, hey, come over. So I don't look at it as, I understand where the politics play in it, but I do look at it from a relationship standpoint. I do look at it as we only got the invitation because we're on the school board. And, but I also don't want, if it was declined, I'd still go and I wouldn't feel mad about it. So, it is what it is. So you're still lit up to speak. Did you have something else?
Sorry,
Or just
I'm
not
done.
turn off? All right. Back to, I don't see anybody else lit up to speak. So let's go ahead and vote on this to either approve the approval of travel expense associated with Spray and Choate going to the inauguration for Senator Boyd. It passes 3-2 with Mr. Tatum and Ms. Felton the noes.
Chat over me.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Jack, some of the things that you addressed during your public comment, I think the superintendent can follow up with at school about some of the shortcomings you're seeing on campus. So I appreciate you for bringing that to our attention.
And get a permission slip to go back in. Excuse absence.
Item number 15, new business, no superintendent recommendation. The first one is approval of the proposed revisions to the new audit committee charter. Obviously, we've been working on this for a little bit. Thank you to Mr. Kennedy and Ms. Spray and Daniels and Ms. Harrigan from the CFOC and the audit committee, everybody working on this. We did have a suggestion to add in comprehensive, I believe it was.
Yeah, I'll reread you when you're ready, Mr. Chair. I'll just
go ahead.
through that
Take it away.
sentence.
Yeah, go ahead.
If everybody has your copy in front of you.
Yep.
This is under the mission for the 1 mil referendum.
Page
And,
1.
This is, I think, it's page 3.
Are we looking at the
Nope.
draft?
Yeah, which one are you looking at? The red line one?
Or the September, there's one that says
Page
draft
4.
September 8th. There's a red line
Page
one,
4.
plain one.
Let me get to the.
Of the red line. I don't know which one we're looking at.
Give me 1 second. I didn't even look.
There's a draft.
We can go to the red line.
All right.
I think the red line is the most
Yeah, because we
Dude.
changed mission to purpose.
correct.
Maybe
Yeah, let's use the red line copy,
All right,
Okay.
Thank you.
September 8th.
which is
Here's
page
page
5,
4.
right?
Page 4.
On the red line?
Maybe it's page 5 now on the web.
Now it's on 5. Okay.
It's 5
All
on mine.
I'm in.
Okay, so first of all, the document that we're approving that's on the agenda is, as the chair said, kind of the culmination of multiple conversations, opportunities for input from the board, from the audit committee, from the public, if they wanted to. But this is just one final piece of cleanup, which Mr. Daniels spoke about, and I do want to reassure the board and the public that the intent of what we wanted to do was there and carries through. It's just, we could have worded it better, so thank you, Mrs. Sellers, for catching this. It's just kind of a timing detail, but it's minor, but it's important if we want to adhere to the charter. So the second paragraph under mission 1 mil referendum, the second paragraph should read, and I guess let me just do this. I'll make a motion to approve this document with the following change.
Okay.
Can I have a second?
Amendments, second.
Okay, thank you. Here's the following change. The CFAC, new name, Citizens Financial Audit Committee, shall issue an annual report no later than 90 days after the school board accepts, instead of certifies, its annual comprehensive financial report, otherwise known as ACFR, ACFR, ACFR. I'll do that one more time. The CFAC shall issue an annual report no later than 90 days after the school board accepts, not certifies, its annual comprehensive financial report, ACFR.
And then continue with the
Everything else is good.
So should we insert that acronym?
The ACFR,
Yeah,
ACFR in parentheses.
Sure.
Right afterwards.
Yeah.
Sure.
right, insert that,
Right after the word report.
right,
Correct.
please.
And with that, I thank the board for all the work and time you put into this. I thank the audit committee for their
yeah.
input.
Yeah.
With a lot of work.
It's been a long road. We're finally got this document edited or approved.
job.
Pure for change. So
I don't see any board members lit up to speak. So we got a motion in our second. So let's go ahead and vote on the approval of the revision of the new audit committee charter with those revisions done today by Mr. Kennedy.
There it goes.
And that passes 5-0. Item number 2 on our new business with no superintendent recommendation is approval of the 2026 School Board of Manatee County legislative priorities. Board, we've obviously seen these. Thank you, Mr. Chapman, for putting that together. I would say there's probably 2 things I'd maybe add to it, depending on what the board would like to add to it. One would be, some kind of and you can help me with this, Mr. Dye or
Yeah.
Mr. Penley, some kind of language about the sales tax, or excuse me, the
Are you talking about
the mill,
mill?
from the tax collector, the commission? Is there something in there that we could say, whether it be clarify the intent of why we're taking the commission, or clarify why you need the commission and how much of the commission you're using and what for? Like, what are some languages that we could put as a priority to get, because we're waiting still from any kind of opinion.
Right.
So is there anything you could think of that we could add to put in there like that?
Yeah, I would add, thank you, Chairman. I would add that you asked for clarification in that statute of whether the tax collector is entitled to a commission on a voter-approved millage.
What was that statute number?
Mr. Chapman, you're writing that down what he's saying? Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
So that obviously can be added to what we've already have. And there was one more. What was the other? Not the commission. I'll have to think about it. We do have someone else lit up, so go ahead, Ms. Spring.
Just to add into that, to include the statute number of what we're talking about with this text.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have it in front of me. I thought Mr. Dye might have had it off the top of his head.
We can add it in.
It's 192.03 something. We can certainly clarify
insert it in,
that statute. It's a matter of putting in those citations.
Right. And I don't think we need to add it to this one, but I do want all of us to start advocating for stronger background checks. This next session, when we just start talking with different districts and getting them on board with the greater consortium and the central. Start pushing an FSBA.
Sure.
I have a safety committee meeting in a week. I'll bring it up.
Great.
Sure.
Perfect.
Yes, sir.
Other than that, I want to say thank you for adding my two that I wanted in here for finance.
Yeah, Mr. Dye.
Did you add to the legislative agenda clarification that all school property would be gun-free?
Yeah, I was going to ask if that's what you were trying to remember.
yeah.
No, it's not, but that's okay.
We can put that in
To add that in, yeah.
and quote.
I would just say, yeah, clarify the open carry.
All school properties.
Yeah. Not just schools, but school
Right.
property.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe school district owned property.
Yeah.
like that.
There you go. That's
There
a
you go.
good term. Perfect.
Yeah.
So that would go down below.
Um,
Well, that's appropriations, okay.
Yeah, that'd be 8. It was 8 so far now, which is good.
8. Okay. Other than that, I think it looks good.
yeah. And obviously, we can put somewhere in there that we support the Florida Consortium's legislative, like we did
Right.
last year.
I thought that was down below.
I
somewhere
don't
in there.
see it.
That could be.
I know we did that last year. I know we did.
That could be number 9.
Yeah, we said like we support all those things. So whenever they see.
Right, because we already voted on all of those, so.
Right. Okay. Anything else, board? Let me see. Miss Gray is the only one lit up.
Oh, sorry, I just didn't unclick. Go ahead.
I remember about, we had discussed about having them reevaluate the fish report in light of Schools of Hope legislation. But I don't know if that's the one you're thinking of either.
It's not. But I know what you're saying. So, as of now, they're not, just more background on that. As of now, they're not counting the fish report when they look and say,
Right.
you've got openings.
Okay.
right? Okay,
Yeah, they're not taking into account the special.
because it's not
needs.
counted on fish, like
Right.
us
Exactly.
having those spaces.
Right,
Exactly.
so,
So has there been anything where they actually come in like, oh, these are classrooms being used? They just kick
That'll-
out the
That'll be interesting to
VPK?
see.
So our understanding, which is still limited as it's all still in development, is that we submit a report, I think by February 1st, somewhat explaining our use of space, like we have a contract with this organization to use this part of the campus, or we have 6 VPK classrooms that aren't counted in the K-12 report. So that's my understanding, and I think that's what's written in the state board rule or the statute, which one, I can't remember which one, but it's in one of those. So we're looking to get clarification on what that report looks like, and we haven't
Okay.
received that yet.
Okay. I say we wait to see what that ends up before
Yeah.
making anything. But I do think it needs to be addressed. We can always talk about it. for
right,
sure.
talking about
Okay.
it.
All right, I see no board members lit up to speak on any other items.
So-
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't hit my button. I just want to go to the bottom of the document, the appropriations request for $750,000 for a SOAR 4 lab. Senator Boyd was at the ribbon cutting for the first SOAR 4 lab a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I look forward to him helping us get this across the finish line.
Yeah.
The
North of the river, put this one
The
north of the
lobbying
river.
has
north
already
of the
begun,
river.
Mr. Kennedy.
I have no
So,
doubt.
Yeah, our team, Dr. Thomas and Mr. Foster and Mr. Colell are meeting with Rep. Robinson tomorrow, matter of fact. And they have our appropriations forms, thanks to our team that helped me fill that out. And the requests will start tomorrow. So, Senator Boyd, I think, the superintendent had a discussion with him as well, I think, at the aquarium opening. So the lobbying has begun, and I think this will be a winner for not only the school district, but we also, thanks to the superintendent as well, we had a great meeting with the county as well, and they're very interested in
Yep.
helping us support our SOAR 4 lab and also find another location or two. So we've got a lot of partners now in this effort. So.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and, do we ever get a motion in a second on
We
this?
did.
No, we did not.
We didn't?
No. So we need a motion in a second now that we've
I'll move.
updated. So there's our motion
A second.
and a second. So let's go ahead and vote on the legislative priorities as we've updated a couple
As
there.
amended.
As amended.
And that is approved 5-0.
Very good.
All right, moving to updates. Item number 18, instructional update.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We have some really great stuff going on in the school district. The last few weeks, we've had some tremendous arts events. We had the Men's Choir Festival, September 29th at Parish. We had the All-County Orchestra, October 4th, which was absolutely beautiful at SCF. And then the upcoming weeks, we have our All-County Honors Band auditions, and the school music showcases are beginning. So those are the events where elementary school and middle school students get to go up to the high school and see performances from middle school and high school bands, and it's just a great way to bridge the gap and get kids excited for the next level of school. So all of that's really wonderful, and I know I've seen many board members at those events. So thanks to the curriculum team, our arts teachers, and our district arts specialist, Ricardo Robinson Chanel, for putting all of that together and continuing to support the arts. It was just referenced, but obviously on September 19th, after our last board meeting, a few days after, we had our SOAR lab ribbon cutting, which was just a wonderful event at the Harley Center. I want to thank Sheila Halpin, our early learning team, the Ross Camps, and the board members for such an amazing turnout. And of course, if the community would like to visit the SOAR lab, the open hours and upcoming events can be found on the SOAR website at soarin4.org. I also want to thank Ms. Felton for the invitation to present to the CSAB on Friday, October 3rd. Really enjoyed the opportunity to share information about the school district and our focuses and successes for the year. As you also know, board members, I take my instructional leadership team. We visit schools and do kind of academic reviews at schools, working with the leadership team, getting to walk classrooms, learning about the initiatives going on at each school, And so some of the schools I visited in the last couple weeks have been Onico, Ballard, Samoset, Prine, Lee Middle, and Daughtry. I want to thank the teachers and administrative teams of those schools for hosting us, opening their doors, and just showing the incredible teaching and learning that's going on at those schools. We also have Brooks Harper at our high schools this week. He's a guest speaker who will do assemblies with our high school seniors about career preparation, life preparation, getting in the right mindset for life after high school. And so he does those in the fall with our seniors, and then he'll be doing some middle schools, I believe, after the new year. And then we also have, for our seniors, senior tours going on at USF Sarasota Manatee. Our high school seniors will be taking tours of USF SM every Friday for the next few weeks. So that's a great opportunity for some of our seniors to, again, plug into post-secondary opportunities as they're completing their FAFSAs and doing all the things to get ready for school. We also have something I'm extremely excited about, which is our upcoming Early Literacy Symposium. This is our a Manatee School District of Manatee County sponsored conference on early literacy for our teachers. It's going to be held Saturday, October 25th at Palmetto High School for our K-3 teachers to really dig in and learn more about early literacy and supporting student learning. And then finally, I just want to thank all of our students, teachers, families, and schools for a wonderful first quarter. The end of I can't believe it's already here, but the end of the first quarter is this Friday, the 10th.
It's hard to believe.
That means that next Monday is a teacher record day. So we have no student attendance on that day where teachers can finalize their grades and plan for the next quarter. And then I also want to remind everyone that we will have elementary early release days again on the academic calendar this year. Those will take place 10/17 and 10/24, both of those Fridays, and on those days early, elementary school students will dismiss early at 1 p.m. That is so that teachers have the hours for those elementary school parent-teacher conference nights to come back. So we've brought those back to the district, and those are the early release days are for that purpose.
And what days were there again? What days were that again?
Friday, 10/17 and 10/24.
Okay. The reason I asked is that felt those are deliveries on Fridays, feeding empty little tummies, and I just want to make sure they're aware of that, because sometimes you don't, if the kids are leaving by 1 o'clock, they want to take the bags home on the weekend, so we just got to make sure we get those bags there by 12:30 or something like that.
We'll definitely be doing a lot of district messaging ahead of those weeks, just to make sure all of our parents and stakeholders are aware. Thank you.
I thank you. Operations.
Good afternoon, Board Chair, Vice Chair, Board members, and Dr. Breslin. So we had a job fair, operations job fair on September 18th, had 105 candidates that showed up. We were able to hire 4 custodians, 17 food service workers. We had 35 candidates for bus drivers. So we were able to pool them because we don't have 35 openings. So we have a list, and I'll circle back to that at the end. We had an instructional and para-job fair on September 25th. We had 81 attendees. 7 offers. Principals were able to get a pool of applicants for teacher positions. The trick with that is they have to be certified, so a number of them are applying for certification. But they do have a list and setting up secondary interviews. Just a reminder that we have the Employee Health and Wellness Fair on Monday, which is October 13th. That's a record day. It will be held at Braden River High School, and that's from 11 to 3:30. And you'll be able to meet face-to-face with our benefit vendors, and there'll be options to talk about options for family members and yourselves. You'll have free screenings, wellness vendors, seminars, giveaways, so we're hoping for a big turnout. Our supper program review. The state reviewed our child care food program review is what it's called, and that's where they review audit our supper programs. We cleared no findings. This review is conducted every 3 years, and they look at the menu, nutrition, and then accountability. Fall celebration through food and nutrition services. We held a fall breakfast celebration at Braden River High Parish and Lakewood Ranch. Students were given samples of new items as well as special breakfast menu items. They included pumpkin bread, ham and Swiss croissants, then my favorite, apple pie yogurt parfait. Yummy. Transportation, as I said, we're fully staffed with bus drivers. We're at 108 through your support and the superintendent. She's approved us to have 5 more positions for transportation bus drivers, and we're excited about bringing those folks on once we're cleared to do that through hiring, because that'll help us with routing, right? That'll help us improve, continue to improve our on-time performance, and then help with some of the field trips and things of that nature, because there's a huge need for that. I also want to make you aware that October 20th through the 24th is the National School Bus Safety Week. Every day is bus safety for us, but nationally, we're going to recognize it that 20th to 24th. There'll be things for the staff. We'll have obstacle courses and things for our staff to practice and to make sure we're safe, and we'll get that information out to schools. This past Sunday, just past this, was Stuff the Bus Day. As you know, at 19 of our Publixes in the county, we had our school buses there, and they had volunteers that, you know, helped to load those buses up. And want to thank the community for the donations. I know many of you and many of us have done the same, and that's going to help. That food is delivered to the food bank of Manatee, and then obviously given out to those needy families in our community. So that's very neat, very exciting. Thank you for that. And the last thing is just a rezoning update. The last time, this past spring and summer, if you remember, staff shared with the board and the community our maps, right? We had quite a few maps, right? There were, like I got here, 3 options per zone, per school level, right? It might have been more than that. So there were like 18 maps or something, I don't know, 20. But we, as a staff, have been working to condense those, right? We put those maps out, collected input from yourselves, got it from the community, principals, and we're in the process of condensing those down to 1 map for each grade level, right? So 1 for elementary, district-wide, 1 for middle, 1 for high school. That will be completed by the end of October. We'll have a workshop. We'll share those maps with you, collect feedback, put it out to the community, get more feedback, use the month of November to collect that information, and then condense that down, make adjustments as needed, and present to you in December our recommendation for those zones for each grade level. So that's the plan. Got a lot of work to do. Just condensing those maps has been real fun.
I bet.
A lot of fun. But we're close. Thank you.
Thank you. Any board questions? Nope. Legal.
Thank you, Chair. Just a couple updates for the board. The district's going to be closing on the Taylor Ranch future school parcel, scheduled to close October 15th. All the roads and utilities and everything have finally been extended out to that parcel, so we're closing on schedule. And then the Neil Jones Farm parcel that's under contract, that's scheduled to close the end of this month. There's some discussions being scheduled with Mike Penley, myself, the Neil Group, about adding additional property to that site. That's currently, I think, a 40-acre site. And the board expressed interest when Mr. Neal was here to see if that site could be expanded to be big enough for a larger school, K-8 or whatever is needed.
K-12.
Even K-12, yes.
K-12, they have them up north.
So we might extend the closing date while those discussions go on, or we may close anyway and then just continue to discuss adding on to it. So there'll be more on that later. The tax collector claim for commission on the millage, that Attorney General opinion has not gone out yet. Been various reasons sent to me for why it hasn't. I thought it was going to have a little more urgency to it. I would encourage the board to contact Mr. Burton and just express your interest that you'd like, you're disappointed how long it's taking to get that done. You'd like to see them emphasize that. I've also asked to see a copy of it, be able to comment on it, and I've also asked that the funds be put into interest-bearing account while this is pending. The reaction I got to that is they're not sure if that's legal to do that, but I'm going to see if we can do something like that. There'd be quite a bit of interest off $1.5 million. If this rolls over another year, you're talking $3 million.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty soon you got a lot of interest going on.
Right.
So that's the status of that, and I'll stay on top of it. That's all I've got today.
Thank you. Superintendent.
Thank you, sir. So this month is National Principal Month, and so we want to recognize the hard work of all of our school principals. I want to point out two in particular who last week invited me to their campuses. One this week, Principal Webb, same as said, I mentioned this earlier, for the check award for her campus. She had all of her kindergarten students come out of class with pom-poms. It was great to see. And I know that she's going to do a great thing to incentivize students to come to school. And I don't know why you wouldn't want to come to her campus. It is filled with such positive energy. And then Principal Lesline, Palmetto High School, invited me out last week to hand out perfect score certificates to 6 students who earned scores last spring on their state test. Of course, you remember that we recognized last board meeting students who earned multiple perfect scores. But just a reminder, district-wide, we had 187 students earn a perfect score on a state test. Really impressive students. 4 of those students are heading off to college or university next year, and 2 of them are choosing MTC for their continued education. So all great choices by those 6 students. I attended the art show provided by our ESE department, led by Jody Amira, and the SCF campus, and really spectacular artwork. There were 52 art pieces on display at the SCF library, so what a good partnership with SCF as well. Those art pieces will be on display through October 23rd, all produced by our students, our ESE students in particular, and really talented students. So I urge you to check out that library and check out that artwork. On the consent agenda, grants approved, so incoming money to our district to close to $1.9 million. The approval of the pre-apprentice programs at Bayshore and Palmetto High for construction services, so really exciting opportunities for our students to dig into. The instructional team PM1 data presentation, great job presenting that data. 3rd grade in particular, we're starting off 3 points higher than we started last year. That's a huge nod to everything that's happening from pre-K to grade 2. And really just solidifying our goal to raise our 3rd grade reading, and we're already starting off in a stronger spot. As you all know, board members, thank you for your support through bargaining. We have a tentative agreement. I meet with Pat Barber this afternoon, so more to come on that, hoping to bring that ratified agreement to you at our 2nd meeting in October. And a huge congratulations to our partners in education, Moat Marine, for opening their new facility this month. They have graciously extended invitations to board members, science and math teachers to come see their new facility. And I know that we will have really strong partnership with student interactions with everything they're offering our community, and just one more opportunity for students living in this great community and attending our great schools. And board members, I'm coming up on a month as superintendent. It is a privilege to be working for this district, to work with the board members, and to work with the incredible team that we have in this district who have supported me as I've stumbled my way at points through the first month here in this seat. So thank you everyone for the support.
Thank you. Board member comments. We'll go Felton, Kennedy, Spray, myself.
Okay, so I also, as did Mr. Tatum, attended the Exceptional EU Art Show. They tapped me to judge art of all of these students. Someone else has to do it next year. This was hard. But it's an amazing show, and if you get a chance to go check it out, it's as Dr. Breslin said, it's open through the 23rd of October, whenever the library is open over there, so you can go in any time and wander around and check it out. I want to thank the board again for approving my travel to the FSBA training in September. I have now wrapped up all of that for the certified board member certificate, whatever they give us for that. And I really appreciated the last two that I had to attend were collective bargaining and policy. Collective bargaining was really helpful to understand as we're in the middle of this process right now. So I feel like I learned a lot and got a lot out of it. So I appreciate being able to attend that. Otherwise, I've just been all over the place, and as have all of you, because we keep running into each other all over town. One of my favorites, I went to visit Myaka Elementary. I love going out there. And then I always get to say hi to the animals that they have out there as well. The kids are always excited to show us the pigs and everything else and the bunnies. And being asked by the pre-K why I was so big, because apparently I am very tall compared to them. But I had a great time out there. I've got several more visits, of course, planned, including visiting Anna Maria King and Manatee High, so I can see how our marine biology program is run through the three schools. I'm looking forward to that quite a bit. The only other things that I really wanted to say or talk about was the arts programs that we've got going on. If you get a chance to visit any of them, I know several of us do. I wasn't able to go to the orchestra, all-county orchestra performance, but I was able to go during rehearsals and see the kids as they're practicing, which was great. It was, I love seeing the talent we have, and as well as the men's choir at Parish Community. To be able to see the talent, of course, we're very concerned about their test scores and how well they do in their academics, but to be able to see them excel in some things that are maybe, not necessarily considered academic, but still give them a chance to express themselves and to embrace other aspects of their own lives is a fabulous experience. So anytime I get to go to those is always great. And so I've gotten to hit several of those so far this year. And that really about covers it. So thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Kay?
All right, thanks, Mr. Chair. I just, as usual, want to thank Dr. Breslin and the team, Laura, Danielle, for getting everything ready for today. Laura, I really appreciate the setting up of the school visits with Dr. Breslin. I'm looking forward to getting those started tomorrow. In fact, we've got two together. That's always one of my favorite things in this job is to be on campus to meet with administrators, to just meet kids, talk to kids. It's always a kind of a fine line for me, though, because you never, as a board member, want to be on campus and make anybody uncomfortable. Like, oh, there's a board member here. Perfect example. Last week, I had something up in my schedule, and I emailed, Terrence's last name is escaping me. Anyway, I was at SUG. What is Terrence's name?
Marshall.
Thank you, Dr. Marshall. Thank you, Mr. Jensen. Sorry, Terrence. But so I emailed Dr. Marshall and said, like, hey, if you don't mind, is it okay if I swing by? And he, of course, made me feel incredibly welcome. Just stop by anytime you want. And so, but as much as I appreciate that, I really don't expect that from principals, because they've got a school to run. They've got a million things going on. And so I always want to be sensitive to that kind of line between board members and being at schools. So I express my appreciation to administrators like Dr. Marshall, who sincerely make me feel welcome anytime. But I do also want to be respectful of them and their work environment and their school. So anyway, so if I do just magically appear somewhere, I'm just stopping by to say hello and maybe walk around campus a little bit. I'm not there to
pressure.
Point things out or anything like that. So that said, because now that we're into the end of the first quarter, things are running and we got our processes down and things are running smoothly. And so, so I'm looking forward to doing more of that. Anyway, that's it for me.
Straight.
Okay, so I'll do my safety tip, and I'll just keep on. I want to use the metaphor of beating the dead horse, but then there might be people out there that like horses, and so I'm like beating the dead horse until it's dead. But I was just listening to the sheriff last week at a event where he was at, and we brought up again the issue of people leaving their firearms in cars, right, overnight, unlocked. And again, if you're a teacher and you're watching this, maybe you could just mention it to your kids in class one day. Hey, if you know your parents have firearms, and you might, where's your firearm tonight, Dad? Where's your firearm tonight, Mom? You know, make sure it's inside the house, locked up safely somewhere instead of out in the car. Yes, I did attend the all-county orchestra, and a couple of years ago, I took a class on fine arts, you know, and part of that class I had to listen to operas. So I'm sitting there watching this Wagner opera, and there's a part of the opera, which I didn't know at the time, but it's called The Flight of the Valkyrie. Valkyrie are these, you know, goddesses that come and take warriors away when they die on the field of battle. Anyway, we've all probably heard it. It goes like this. Dun da 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 dun da 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 dun da 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 dun da da da. I remember sitting there watching it and thinking to myself, man, I thought that was a commercial jingle. I really did.
It's so overplayed, it might as well.
Yeah, I'd heard it like 20 years ago, and I thought it was written for a commercial or something. All that to say that it's good to go to these type of events, if nothing else, so you don't embarrass yourself like that someday down the road. But it was beautiful. It was, you know, in the world of humanities, we say we're looking for what's true and what's beautiful and what's good, and that was all of those things, right? The musicians did a great job. It was beautiful, it was good, and all of that type of good art points us toward that which is true in the world. So it was a great event. So that was awesome, and I hope to attend it again. And then the last thing is, I guess, is a question to my fellow board members. I know that I think all of us have had a meeting with one of the builders about the AAA high school contract, and do we want to have a workshop and discuss what was brought to our attention? Does that interest any of you, or not? If it doesn't, then we might as well not have a workshop. But if it does, then it'd be good to bring it up in a workshop, since we can't call each other and talk about it. So that's my question to you.
I'd be interested.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I would too. I mean, we've now given RSM the green light to go ahead and start.
Yeah, I would want to wait till RSM is done with their audit to then
Okay.
come back and see what they said. Yeah.
Okay.
But absolutely.
Put it on the workshop.
Eventually,
list
one
then.
day, yeah.
Okay, great.
I mean, I don't know what 30 or 40 hours mean in the auditing world. Like, is that like a week or two? Like, or is that spread over a month? I don't know, but
So that would be like the field time. I would
Yeah.
think that it's gonna take probably a month. I know
Okay.
that sounds like a week,
Okay.
but it could, because they have to have reviews going
Sure,
on,
sure,
that
sure.
kind of a thing. They'll get management responses as well too in
Okay.
there. So
I figured probably 2 to
Yeah.
4 weeks, somewhere in that range.
that's what I would
Yeah.
Chad, if I may just say one more thing. To your question, Mr. Tatum, there are certainly things that we can improve in our system. Maybe the RSM taking a look at it can identify those. But there are certainly, and this is from personal experience, there are certainly, and this is not involving anybody who is in this room, who is in this district today. Let me be diplomatic. There was, in previous years, there was interference that came from the board onto staff. And we are still dealing with the legacy of some of that interference. That didn't even come from the entire board. It didn't come from a board majority. It came from individual board members acting outside of their purview. And the remnants of that are still around. And so there are definitely things that we can fix. I'm sure everybody involved, from all of us, the superintendent and team, is interested in getting those things fixed. But I think, to the chair's point, I think we should let that work proceed, so they can take a look at our processes. They can take a look at state statute, things like that. And so we have kind of a framework to start from in looking at what reforms we want to direct.
Great. And that's all the comments that I have today. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Ms. Spray?
I'll be short. No pun intended. Gosh, that just came out. I can't believe that just came out like that. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that. Yeah, I did run into a few board members at different events, football games and things like that. I have not been visiting schools unannounced. I have been scheduling them, but I've also been scheduling meetings with our partners in the county to kind of get some things resolved there. I did miss the meeting with Representative Kennedy. Is that what? Right. Because I was doing a federal grants greater consortium Zoom at the same time that failed to connect. So it has to be rescheduled, and I didn't chime in on this one. I felt uncomfortable doing that at the last moment. But other than that, I think we're off to a great start. We still have lots of work to do as usual, but I think we're going to have a good year. And that's all I got.
Awesome, thank you.
Oh, wait, I did want to say too, thank you to the public commenter on bringing up the patriotic information.
Yeah.
This might be a good time at Veterans Day to maybe pass some of this stuff out at our schools, at our high schools. Anyway, thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you. Thank you to staff, everybody, to putting the meeting together. I will say we had a shade early this morning on some
Yeah.
safety and security stuff, and
Been a long day.
phenomenal staff we have with safety and security. I mean, it's unreal. The stuff that obviously we do it in shade to protect what's going on in the schools from the safety standpoint. But you'd be hard pressed to find any school district that's more concerned about safety and the technology that we have and put in place towards the safety. There's no question that obviously us as a board, that was a major priority for us, right? And Mr. D'Amico and his team are nailing that every single day. So really good stuff. With that, we'll see everybody Friday for our workshop. Thanks everybody again. We are adjourned.